What's going on, NBA fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, hosted by me. I'm Haize. You can follow me at CEO Haize. Right off the top, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about LeBron James and the Lakers and how this is kind of a cautionary tale of why sometimes mortgaging your future, this isn't the right answer. We'll get into all that and more right after this.
Thank you. The number one place for your daily basketball fix, NBA Central. Hosted by the one and only CEO Haize.
All right, so I tend to not really talk a lot about the Lakers in general because, A, I'm not a LeBron fan at all. I respect what he done for the game, but I'm not a LeBron fan at all. But I do think, like, as an interesting just conversation for basketball viewers, right, is to have a conversation about, hey, let's start this off with LeBron James. LeBron James, who is still having an all-star season, still averaging all NBA numbers, like averaging 25 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, 6.9 assists, still shooting the ball pretty efficiently. Overall, it is one of his lowest. Oh no, it is the lowest field goal percentage of LeBron James's career. And then it's also the lowest 3-point shooting percentage of LeBron James's career. And the thing with this is that we're seeing LeBron just be a regular guy, and it says enough about his talent that even in LeBron on his descent, the fact that at this point LeBron is just a regular guy in a way, right? Still all NBA, still probably going to be an all-star, still putting up ridiculous stats, but LeBron James is having the worst defensive season of his career by far, right? He hasn't been as healthy as what we're used to seeing LeBron being. And you know, it's and I don't mean to say, and I don't say that in a way to where it's like to shit on LeBron, because what LeBron has done over the course of his career, the fact that he lived up to the hype, or everything that he's done, you have to respect it. If you're a basketball player, you have to respect it. Yeah, he does some of the silly stuff, the line about songs and not knowing the words and recording himself singing them and everything, right? The fact that he says he needs to learn how to flop like Bron, you've been flopping for decades. But without that being said, right, the fact that, like, on LeBron's descent, and it made me think about this, is that while LeBron is going down, and it's expected at his age, right? You can't, for somebody to be able to do what LeBron's doing at his age is still supernatural and superhuman. But the plan for the Lakers was originally that while LeBron got to this point, that Anthony Davis would be on such an ascent that it evens out, right? That there's still a hell of a team. Still maybe not being a championship contender with just those two, but adding a couple of more pieces around it and still having them be one of the better teams in the NBA. And that just has not come to fruition. To be exact, it's been the exact opposite. The Los Angeles Lakers are statistically the worst team in basketball. And it's not even close in a lot of ways. This team is just not a good basketball team. They're 2-9 on the season. And the thing that's worrisome about this is that they gave up so many picks and pick swaps and everything for Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis has not stepped up to that level that they hoped or maybe expected. And then, of course, even though Russell Westbrook is playing better off the bench now, he's embracing that role. Shout out to Russ for being able to do that, because there's a lot of people who thought that he may not be. And there's been players whose career has had to end early because they couldn't accept a role off the bench. But the Los Angeles Lakers, I feel, are a cautionary tale of why, if you're going to mortgage your future, you have to be damn sure, or you should be pretty damn sure about what you're going to get from the players that you're mortgaging your future for. Now, again, to the Lakers' credit, they thought that they were going to still be able to stay at a certain level because Anthony Davis, only 29, and they thought he was going to be able to send playing next to LeBron. But this Lakers team is gone as LeBron has trickled down, right? They have one of the worst net ratings when LeBron and Anthony Davis are on the court together, and that's supposed to be your duo. So while, like, teams and fandoms will have and say that their team needs to trade, or they want to see them trade all the young pieces for veterans and do this, do that, while it's not always going to go wrong, right? Because there's a lot of situations in the NBA where it absolutely goes right and it pays off for teams. Absolutely. But you have to look at this and say that this should be a sign of why it's not. Yeah, the Lakers got their championship, and for many fan bases, that would be enough. Similar to the Toronto Raptors, they got their championship trading DeMar for Kawhi. Kawhi left the next offseason, and that Toronto Raptors fan base is still happy, still riding the high from that. Still a very cocky fan base as well, even though the team is kind of middle of the pack of the East. But with that being said, right, There are some fan bases that winning that one title would have been enough. It would have been enough to satiate them. But this is the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a franchise in which your fan base expects you to be contending every single year. And they're not doing that. They are the worst team in basketball. And the worst part about it is that they don't have their own picks where even bottoming out is helping them any. And so it leaves the Lakers at this weird place of what do? They do they just continue bottoming it out and then the teams that own their picks are just going to continue to benefit from it? Or do they have to try to make a move? Do they eventually say, let's go ahead and make a move just to get a new influx of talent in here? Right? And I kind of talked about that already, that, who's going to blow it up first? Is it going to be the Lakers? Is it going to be the Nets? And that's not necessarily what I'm saying here, right? Don't want to rehash that conversation. But you have to think that the Lakers brass and that front office is looking at this team and thinking, what the hell do we do? What do we do? Because they just don't have a lot of options to do it. 2023 pick, the Pelicans have the right to swap it. So they'll get the worst out of those picks. But listen, the Pelicans are a team that looks like they're definitely going to be a playoff team for sure in the Western Conference. So you're at that point, you're getting a low 18 to 25 pick. Their 2024 first round pick owned by the New Orleans Pelicans. And that's not even a pick swap. They have the right to get that pick in general. Their 2025 pick. They have their own pick. But the Pelicans have the rights to that pick technically if they don't take the pick in 2024. Now they do start having their own first round picks again in 2026, 2027. From 2026 to 2030, they have their own picks. And when you're looking at this Lakers team, unless a free agent decides to take way less to come here and play with LeBron, play with AD, or you can move Russ, or you move Anthony Davis for something that's unexpected. This Lakers team does not have a clear path on when to improve. Their salary's ridiculous, right? Their salary's by far ridiculous. Now, one of the benefits of them that they could say is that if the Pelicans do not swap picks in 2024 or 2025, depending on which one of those could be the draft in which the NBA starts allowing high school players to come back in, and maybe the depth of that. Let's say that in 2024 draft, they start allowing high school players to come in again. Even if the Pelicans do swap picks, the Lakers have a chance to then get a little bit of talent, even no matter where the Pelicans pick is at that point. Well, I take that back because the 2024 draft isn't a pick swap. That's an outright, they can take that pick. So this is just wild where the Lakers are right now. And this is not something that people expected when they made the trade for Anthony Davis, then brought in Russell Westbrook. They thought that this team was going to be able to ascend, and we've seen this team crumble before our eyes. We've seen LeBron regress, and still, albeit a great player, Anthony Davis, still an all-star, right? Still probably a player that's going to make an all-NBA team. But when your two best players have a terrible net rating, you're actually worse when they're playing together, at least thus far into this young season, that is huge cause for concerns when you don't have a clear path on how to improve yourself. So this is, like I said, this should be a cautionary tale on why teams should not always mortgage their future. Or you should look at the picks. You should look at the way that things are going to fit. And then, of course, hindsight is 2020. You can never all the way predict how these things are going to go when you make trades like this. But I take a look at this and say, hey, man, listen, you got your title. You got your bubble title. But what did it really cost you when you look at how some of their other players have developed over the course of this time that they traded away? Let me know what you guys think on it down below. Where are you on the mindset? Do you think that it's still better to mortgage your future to have that title immediately right now? Or do you think it's better to sustain that success over time by holding on to some of your younger players? And again, it's going to be different depending on the team. But let me know what you guys think about that one down below. That is it for today's episode of NBA Central. You can follow me personally at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. If you want to send in any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, anything, you can do so at NBACentralShow@gmail.com. But that is it for me for today. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.